Hello friendos and bendos, it's me Z, and as I was reading the newly released hit comic Harley Quinn Fartacular Silent But Deadly, I realized that many other comics had come out that fine Wednesday. Absolute Martian Manhunter number 1, Absolute Wonder Woman number 6, Metamorpho the Element Man number 4, and the comic which I was both anticipating and dreading the most, Wonder Woman issue number 19. Wonder Woman 19 ushers in the final chapter in the first arc of Tom King's current Wonder Woman run, and as both a huge fan of Wonder Woman and of King's work, this has probably been the book from mainline DC continuity that I've been looking forward to reading the most each month. I've been wanting to talk about this run more extensively on this channel for a while, as I have a lot I want to talk about, so much so that I've even done some essays for the first few issues that I posted on my Substack, because I am a huge fucking nerd. But I wanted to wait until this first arc was finished before delving into it on the channel. After all, I think a full comprehensive look is always appreciated. I'm doing this for more than my own interest though. You see, Tom King's Wonder Woman run has been controversial due to a variety of factors. The first is King himself. Tom King is a very polarizing writer. Some people treat him like he's some sort of writing godsend from heaven, and others treat him like he's the incarnation of the Antichrist. King has a very distinctive style of writing, heavy on prose and metatextual meaning. He also often puts themes in his stories of stuff like mental health and war, stemming from the fact that he's former CIA. All of this combines to making King seem a lot more distant to the average reader than he actually is. He's not a genius, nor is he a hack. He's just a guy who writes comics, lots of which I like, some of which I don't like, and one of which he's currently writing that I both love and have some criticisms towards. So, let's get into it. I reread the entire first arc of Tom King's Wonder Woman, and these are my thoughts. So, the first arc of Tom King's Wonder Woman itself has 3 mini-arcs within it. The first mini-arc spanning issues 1 to 6, the second issues 8 to 10, a sort of epilogue to that mini-arc or a prologue to the next depending on your view in issue 14, and a final mini-arc of issues 15 to 19, making the entire arc 15 issues in total. If you're wondering about the other 4 issues, issue 7 is a crossover issue with Superman, and issues 11 to 13 are tie-ins to the Absolute Power event. None of them actually connect to the wider plot. For lack of a better word, they're filler, and I won't be discussing them today in today's video. The entire first 15-issue arc is what we will be referring to as the Sovereign arc, called so because the main villain of the arc is the Sovereign. The Sovereign is a new villain created by King and artist Daniel Sempor, and he is the secret king of America. As we learn in this run, DC's version of the US is actually a monarchy, ruled in the shadows by a king whose family has been ruling the country even since before its independence, using an ancient artifact known as the Lasso of Lies. The Lasso of Lies, unlike Wonder Woman's Lasso of Truth, which forces whoever is ensnared in it to tell the truth, instead forces whoever is ensnared in it to believe whatever lies they are told by their captor. Using the Lasso of Lies and their immense wealth, the Sovereign's lineage has influenced every election, signed off every law, and even ordered the assassination of goddamn Abraham Lincoln. The current sovereign, and therefore King of America, is Henry Charles, a bitter old misogynist who, using a murder committed by an Amazon on US soil as ammunition, bans all Amazons from the country, including Wonder Woman, and this Amazon ban is the main conflict of this first arc. The first mini-arc, Outlaw, deals with the initial fallout of the Amazon ban. The second mini-arc, Sacrifice, deals with Diana's capture by the Sovereign. Issue 14 deals with the murder of Steve Trevor at the hands of the Sovereign, and the final mini-arc, Fury, deals with Diana's revenge against the Sovereign. I should probably also mention that this entire arc is actually being told after the fact by the Sovereign in the future, informing Diana's future daughter Elizabeth, aka Trinity, of the events, and therefore he narrates every issue of the arc. If we're really going to assess all this run so far, we really first have to discuss the Sovereign. The Sovereign is set up by King as this huge, monumental villain for the Wonder Woman mythos, which he really isn't. As a villain, the Sovereign isn't particularly exciting or interesting or scary. He's an old, grumpy white guy. And yeah, he has lots of power and wealth, but this is Wonder Woman. She fights gods. What about the Sovereign is supposed to make him stand out? Well, it goes back to one of the things I talked about that King likes to use a lot. Metatext. The Sovereign is a misogynist and a xenophobe. He is Wonder Woman's ideological opposite and against everything she stands for. Wonder Woman's stories have always been political since her inception, and so having her face off against a villain with an ideology like the Sovereign's makes sense, even if it's been done before with the likes of villains like Dr. Psycho. What sets the Sovereign apart from someone like Dr. Psycho, though, is his status, the King of America, whose family literally built the country into what it is today in all its glory and horror, and therefore built all their ideologies into it as well. All of their misogyny and nationalism are baked into the foundations of the country. Clearly, King is trying to make a statement here, but he goes deeper than commentary on how America and American ideology is built on the backs of several harmful ideas, because it also has to do with Wonder Woman and her own connection to America. William Moulton Marston's original Wonder Woman comics were, as much as they were feminists, also incredibly nationalist, and that makes sense. It was made during World War II, a time where national pride and confidence was very much needed in order to face the terror and evils of Nazi Germany. But even looking back on it with that lens, man, Athena telling Hippolyta that America is the last citadel of democracy and equal rights for women didn't even age well back then. I go a lot more in depth with this with some of my essays in my Substack, which you can read if you're interested, but needless to say, there's an inherent level of American nationalism built into Wonder Woman, even if elements of it have been stripped away over the decades, and it's cool for King to want to tackle that. But an interesting idea doesn't help much if the execution isn't interesting, and Sovereign is just not it, man. Again, I get what King was going for, but Sovereign just isn't a character worth caring about. He's just a representation. And that sucks when an entire 15-issue arc has been built around him, and he narrates every single issue of that arc, talking like he's from the 1800s and always has a thesaurus on hand. It's especially grating when you're reading these issues monthly. There aren't many better spots to put this point, so I'll just say it here. A lot of King's work is best read in one sitting. He does manage to have almost every issue feel substantial and like they tell a complete narrative, which helps when I'm reading this monthly, and it's done better than a lot of other writers right now, but his style of storytelling just works best when you can read everything all at once. The issues I remember not caring for when they came out, when I read them in the format of one issue after the other, actually were a lot better experiences. And that's both really cool, but also really shitty, because I and so many others read this book monthly. Now, the book is still pretty good as a monthly, but I just think if you're interested in the run, wait for the trades. So, the Sovereign is an interesting idea but a poor execution. That sucks. But the villain is just one component of a story. There's still the main character to talk about, Diana of Themyscira, Wonder Woman. And I like the way King writes Diana. Quite a lot, actually. That and the rest of the positive stuff in this comic that I'll talk about managed to outweigh the middling nature of the Sovereign a lot. The way King writes her isn't perfect, though. There have been a lot of other writers that have gotten her personality better, and the fault with King's writing of her really comes from his writing style. King, due to the metatextual style of his writing, often changes characters to fit better with the themes he's trying to display in the storyline. To that end, Diana's dialogue sounds very stilted in this book. She rarely speaks with contraction, and King tries to give her this very royal and regal tone that Diana just has never really had. It's meant to make Diana seem more foreign, not in a from another country way, more like in a from another planet or time period type of way. She speaks in poetry and is almost Shakespearean, like a distant god come to the world of man. And you might assume she would be like that if you're not that well versed in Wonder Woman stories, but that is just not Diana. You want a distant god, you go to fucking Promethea. Diana as a character has always been down to earth. In her stories that take place in her early years, yeah, she speaks in a more ancient fashion with a clear, heavier accent, but in the modern day, Diana is just not that. She speaks to people like people, and not like they're beneath her in any way. She acts and sounds like a friend you've known all your life. And I think a big thing that exacerbates King's faults with writing Diana's voice and manner of speech is that we don't get to hear her inner thoughts. Everything is narrated by the Sovereign. We are distant, and it works to make the story seem more like a Greek epic or tragedy, but it doesn't work to make us care for Diana. But even with those caveats, I still really like King's Diana. Her personality shines through in this arc. She's confident, she's kind, she gets angry, she gets sad, she feels love, she feels heartbreak. Diana still feels like a well-rounded person in a way that I genuinely haven't felt she's been since Rucka's Rebirth run. Whether it's her sensational stand against her villains in issue 6, or her heartbreaking meeting with Steve in the Underworld in issue 14, or her resisting the Sovereign's attempts to break her in issues 8 and 9, or the conversation she has with her mother in issues 8 and 16, Diana acts and experiences emotions like a person. She's not a perfect god, nor is she a useless damsel, or a lovesick puppy, or a violent monster. She's just her, and I like it. Reminds me a lot of Phil Jimenez's Diana, who in one issue could be worrying about her relationship with Trevor Barnes, and in the next could be absolutely dog-walking Cersei like a beast. Because, guess what? People can be and should be allowed to feel different things. I know, Shocker. So, those are the large elements of King's run talked about. Diana and the Sovereign. But there's more. The Wonder Girls are a big aspect of this run, which is shocking because originally, King didn't even plan to have them show up. It wasn't until intense fan clamoring for them to appear that King wrote them into the story, and my god, are they amazing. I love Donna, Cassie, and Yara in this. I love Wonder Woman's supporting cast in general, but this is like the first run since the New 52 fucked everything up to effectively utilize the Wonder Girls. All of them have equal significant screen time and clear, distinct personalities, and those might sound like basic ass praises, but as someone who's read so much Wonder Woman, it's genuinely a goddamn miracle. I like to trash on characters like Tim Drake, but at least he does shit. Cassandra Sandsmark hasn't been a good character in genuinely over a decade until this run, and I am feasting off my scraps. And I of course have to praise artist Daniel Sampour. Man, he just puts out immaculate work every month. Banger after banger after banger. I mean, holy shit, this run would not be the same without him. Now, let's move on to some critiques of King's run by others that I haven't touched on. The first being that King loves to mention the other members of the Trinity. It seems like every issue King is mentioning Batman and Superman and comparing them to Diana, saying things like, yeah, Batman and Superman are cool, but Wonder Woman, she's awesome. Or, Batman and Superman are defined by X and Y, but Wonder Woman is Z, and that's epic. And while you might think, well, King is praising Diana with these comparisons, there's still the fact that he could just not mention them as much as he does. It kind of takes away from Diana's strength if you had to go out of your way and compare her to make her seem cooler instead of just letting her seem cooler, which Sampour manages to already do very effectively with his art before King's narration mentions bats or soups and ruins that. And while it's not as glaring to me as it is to others, as at the end of the day, it is done to praise Diana, I fully get what irks people about it. To me, as I reread this run for this video, this constant comparison and lots of other things led me to a conclusion that this Wonder Woman run was kind of made to get people into Wonder Woman. The structure and dialogue and narration is done in a way as if King is expecting this to be a lot of people's first Wonder Woman run. That's why he talks about Batman and Superman so much, because the reader probably knows them more than her. That's why each issue in the first arc introduces core parts for a character one by one. In issue 1, Wonder Woman doesn't make a full appearance until the tail end. In issue 2, it's all about showcasing just how powerful she is, interspersed with flashbacks and narration about Diana's origin story. The Invisible Jet has this huge reveal moment in issue 3, and then we get an introduction to what Themyscira is like in issue 4, and then in issue 5 we get introductions and backstory to the villains and the Wonder Girls. In issue 10 we finally get a proper introduction to Cheetah, and a narration that runs down her entire deal. Issue 14 is about the importance of Steve Trevor to the mythos. Heck, in issue 19, Etta is revealed in this big moment at the end. The entire first arc feels like King trying to ease somebody into the world of Wonder Woman, which works for new readers, but is obviously not going to be effective for people already in the know. And it sorta makes sense. King knows he's a big name who's going to get a lot of eyes on the book for the first time based on him writing it, and it followed one of DC's big continuity shifts with the Dawn of DC era, but just overall, to a Wonder Woman fan, it just doesn't work all too well. There's also, of course, the new character by King, Elizabeth Marston Prince, codenamed Trinity, Wonder Woman's daughter who becomes her future successor. If you've gone on Twitter any time during the past year or so, like a complete masochist, you might have thought that Trinity was some sort of biblical plague, brought down to silence the hubris of man. But in reality, she's just like another new DC character who will either be forgotten to time or actually develop into something interesting like 10 years from now. I don't particularly like or dislike Trinity, I think she's fine. Do I think that all of her flash forward stories so far being just her with the Super Sons is a little disappointing even if they're all cute? Yeah, I'd like to see her actually interact with her family for once one of these days. But I don't think King is secretly trying to abandon Wonder Woman and write a Super Sons run, even though I can't necessarily fault people for getting that vibe. Do I think she's some sort of industry plant? No, because industry plants don't exist in comic books. Trinity is just the first character in a hot minute that DC has actually decided they try to put some effort into pushing, which is good. If a new character, supposedly major character, is going to be introduced, they should be treated as a new major character, so that people can get used to them. Damian comes out and everyone's like, gross, he's so boring and edgy and lame, and Tim is better, and then boom, cut to modern day, everyone loves the little shit. That's called healthy world building. Wait until like 5 years pass, and then we can start publishing videos about the Wonder Woman character that failed, or whatever. But those are my overall thoughts on Tom King's first arc of Wonder Woman. I think it's very good, Not the best 1D run of all time or anything, but definitely one of the better ones, and in my opinion, is definitely in the top 3 ongoing books right now at DC that isn't in the Absolute Universe. I think reactions to it have been overblown, but it makes sense given the fact that both Tom King and DC's treatment of Wonder Woman are very heated discussion topics. I recommend giving it a read, but keep up with it with the trades. You can read it monthly, but I feel it works better read in chunks. I could talk a lot more about this run, like a lot more, but I don't want this video to take forever for both me to make and for you to watch. If you want something more in-depth from me about it, again, check out my Substack posts I've done so far about the run. I'll link my account in the description. Now, you might be wondering, hey Z, if you're done analyzing the run, what's with the decent chunk of time left in the video? And that, friendos and bendos, is me ranking every issue of the first arc from worst to best, unscripted. Let's get into it. Okay, so this is the unscripted portion of the video. I'm going to be ranking all 15 issues of the first arc from worst to best. Let's just get right into it. In last place, number 15, I'm going to have to go with Wonder Woman issue number 18. This issue it felt so bad to read this one when it came out. Like, reading monthly and then getting to this issue and, like, nothing happens in it. Oh my god, like the build up to it, I was thinking, oh my god, Cheetah is going to fight Grail, Cheetah Wonder Woman going to fight Grail, oh my god. And then I read it, it was like, nothing fucking happens, man. Nothing fucking happens. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Number 15, kind of the same thing. It's just like, oh, each of the Wonder Girls does a cool thing, and then like Diana's like like singing to her baby, and she's like, to the princess drumming on a man. It's like, whatever. You know what I mean? There's a lot of better Wonder Girl content in the book. Then we have Wonder Woman number 3. This is the one where she goes into Sergeant Steele's office, and then also the Sovereign, he fucking makes this guy kill himself. It's kind of boring, whatever. Wonder Woman number 19, the final issue in the arc. It's an alright conclusion. I mean, I would have liked something better, but I mean, it's effective for what it is. Wonder Woman number 8, that's position number 11. This is when we start getting to like essentially pretty good territory. You know, like I don't think any of the books this went on are like bad or middling or anything. I think Wonder Woman number 8 is pretty good. I mean, it's probably the worst one out of the good issues, but like it's really not that crazy. It's just like Wonder Woman trying to break free of the Sovereign's control. Wonder Woman number 9, same thing. It's like her in her head, and she's like, oh my god, I'm just being isolated, and it's so sad, and it sucks. And I like seeing this in this like view into Diana's mind. It's cool, but it's not extravagant. Wonder Woman number 2, again, it's a build-up issue. You know, Diana's, you know, fighting the army, and you know, we get her backstory and stuff. I talked about this a bit in the review, but this like issue is, again, it feels very much like an introduction to Wonder Woman. Then we have issue number 14, What's the Point of Steve Trevor. I really do like this one. I think they're very cute in this one. But there are other better issues, like number 10, which is when we get introduced to Cheetah in this run. And I love this issue so much. I wanted to rank this a bit higher, but like the issues I ranked above this, like they deserve to be ranked above this. Like I just want this one to be ranked more because I'm a Wonder Cheetah shipper and I'm a degenerate piece of shit. But you know, I still do really like this issue. Then we have Wonder Woman number 17. This is the issue where the Wonder Girls fight all of the villains, and it's really fun. I love seeing it. Then we have Wonder Woman number 6. This is entering the top 5. Wonder Woman number 6 is so good. It is so good. Like Diana just fucking going ham against all these villains. You know, she goes through all these impossible odds. I mean, Giganta shoves the Washington Monument on her, and Diana just lifts that shit up because she has to protect the Silver Swan. It's like, Jesus Christ, Diana, I love you. All right. Then we have issue number 1. In the 4th spot, issue number 1, and this is a pretty good like first issue. You know, we're getting introduced to the concept, and I like Diana. I really like how this like builds up, you know, and then we finally see Diana, and she's fucking awesome. I love it. Then in position number 3, we have issue number 5. I love issue number 5. I would honestly like to analyze this issue by itself because I love each of the introductory pages for both the villains and the Wonder Girls with their contest against Diana. This feels very much like an issue that's just like made as a self-contained, hey, you want to just get introduced to all these characters in the best way possible. I love it a lot. Like that fucking first scene with Giganto, where it's like, oh, it's here in her cell, and then bam, she's gigantic, and it's like, holy shit, I love that. In the number 2 spot is Wonder Woman number 16. This is just a perfect issue, man. It's so fucking funny. Like, King is genuinely really, really good at comedy. Like, if you haven't read Batman Elmer Fudd, you should. Like, that and this just prove to me that, like, King really can write a funny book. I think he should, like, write a lot more funny books. And then finally, the best issue of this first arc is easily number 4. Like, issue number 4 is just so fantastic. Watching her just hang out with this cancer patient kid, and he's so nice, and she's just showing him the world, and she's just, this is Diana at her best. She is a kind and compassionate individual, and I love it, and it's moi, it's a magnifique, and I love the commentary on stuff like gender roles as well. It's really good. But that's just my opinion, that's my ranking, and I just thought that would be a fun, little way to end the video. So this has been me, Z, and I hope you have a sensational rest of the day and the week and the year. And that's it. See ya. Bye.